Hey, William, Peter, and got your biscuit decorated jar here. Senkai decorated. Which one is this? Oh yeah, I saw this. I put this. This was on the newsletter last week. It was on the newsletter page. I remember this. This was Migulari had this. This is very pretty. I like it a lot. I think the colors. I think the color composition is excellent. I like the dragon. I love the way the dragon is done. Um, and the colors, the whole thing, it's very unusual. I think the lid looks a little funny on it, but it's too small. But you know, what can you do? But the color of this is really quite excellent. It's beautifully done. It's a very nice example. There's the phoenix, nicely done, classic, dragon and phoenix pattern. Uh, there it is. Is there a picture of the bottom of it? I guess not. Anyway, it's a 19th century jar. Um, and I don't think it's a late 19th century jar either. I think it's probably mid. It's awfully nice looking. It's awfully pretty. The balance of colors is just excellent. And the use of negative space. Sunkai glazes and Wutsai glazes can really be good with negative space around them. All the glazes can, but when you have this very warm, deep, almost brown egg yolk color, and then this very clean, clear green, and this very nice blue, all of it just works so well together. It's just really I thought this was a very successful thing. I didn't know this had closed. I forgot when it closed. At any rate, so obviously it closed, and you bought it. It's a very nice thing all the way around. It's very tasteful. And what's interesting about jars like this is they appeal to not only Chinese collectors, but they also appeal to people with good taste because of the color composition, shape, form, and style. Nice simple base. The base is later, and it's got some damage to it. Nobody cares about the base. That's a 20th century base. But that looks like a mid-19th century jar to me, from what I can see. And Migulari gets good things. He's got a good eye. That's why we always feature him. But this was a nice thing. I remember it very specifically, because it struck me as good. I don't know if I estimated it in the weekly video, but I probably estimated it at $500 to $700, something like that. I don't know what it sold for. Nope, it didn't go for a lot more than that. If it did, I hate being wrong, but you are. It's just guesses, but I thought it was a nice thing, and it's the kind of thing in a fancy retail shop. If you had this in a gallery in London or New York or in a major metropolitan area with some good foot traffic and money, you could sell a jar like this for $1,100 or $1,200 pretty easily, because it's so pretty. It's just pretty, and it's the kind of thing that will make people want to buy it. But I think at an auction, if I were cataloging this for sale, I'd probably estimate it at 4 to 6, thinking it would bring 5 to 7, I suspect. But it's a nice thing. Very, very good. Did you ask a question? You know nothing, but you trust Migulari. Okay. What you can about the vase. Yeah, well, it's it's Sunsai glaze. Beautifully done. Very clean, very crisp, very fine. You have this sort of brownish aubergine color here. Lots of the color combinations are really good. The colors on this are really, really good. The shape and form, of course, is a well-known one. It's a pretty standard, almost, ovoid ginger jar type. But the work is so refined, I can't see that it was made much later than the mid-19th century. It's not impossible, but it's not likely. And I like the dragon phoenix aspect to it. I like the spacing. I like the airbrush, the changes in color. Goes from this color to this color, lighter egg yolk to a dark egg yolk, and then light again, sort of smearing it around, giving it a lot of variation. All that gives it a sort of an organic sensibility to it. And the roux heads at the top and so forth. It's very, very nice. And that's all I can really tell you about it. It is what it is. The bottom of it probably doesn't have a mark on it. It might. Doesn't mean anything either way. It'd be interesting if it had a Kunqi mark on it, but I don't think it will. Be very unlikely because they typically didn't decorate biscuit porcelains that are Sansai glazed, but it may have some writing on it. The base might be glazed, might not be glazed, but the foot will probably be a fairly decent clean porcelain where it's not glazed. Fairly clean, well done, not a lot of impurities, maybe a little tiny bits of iron showing up as little black spots here and there, but that would be about it. And that's it. All right. So it's a nice thing. It's nice product of Jing Chen. All right. Have a good week. Thanks for sending it. Like it. All right. Bye-bye. Hey, Mark. It's Peter. I just got this from you a little while ago. I'm trying to get the urgent ones get them out of the way first in case it's something closing very, very soon. This lot is closing tomorrow. This is an item from Best Buy. They are notorious for selling copies and fakes. And if you look at their, one of the little tricks that we use sometimes when we're looking at things that are pretty convincing, and we're wondering, is this guy just, doesn't really know, or is he just dishonest, or does he sell just fakes? And when you look at his past sales, the pieces that he's sold previously, the answer is pretty obvious. He overwhelmingly sells fakes and copies. All of these pieces are copies, every last one of them. All right. And when you have somebody who you look at their past history and see that they only sell fakes and copies, you can assume that there's a 99% chance that the piece you're looking at is a fake and a copy, because he's not sourcing from antique dealers and galleries and so forth. Here's a bottle vase that he sold a week or so ago. Not too dissimilar in shape from yours, but it's got a Wan Li mark on it. And let's take a look at this for a second, just for the fun of it. Yeah, brand new. That's brand new. That's brand new porcelain. All right, and that's what they look like. And this one is, it's a big, a pear-shaped vase. It's got a Ming mark on it and all this other stuff. It's actually got decoration. It's actually of a decorative style that didn't exist in the Ming Dynasty, which is really strange. And nobody believed it. And it was 15 inches tall. So what does that tell us? It tells us this guy has a propensity for buying big bottle vases. He likes them. He thinks they'll do pretty well. I don't know why, because this one only brought $202 because everybody knew it was a copy. And this one, if it were Kunqi, of course, it would be a $20,000 or $30,000 porcelain, and it's up to $160 with a day left to go. So what that tells you is that the people in China have looked at it and said, no, it's brand new. We can buy these in Jing Chen all day long. And that's what I would do. The quality, and I'm not criticizing you because you were wondering if it was authentic. The quality of the copies they're doing is getting better and better and better and better. And as time goes on, you're going to see an increase in the quality, and you're going to see a greater need endlessly to only buy from the most reputable sellers, either on eBay, and there are many, or the most reputable sellers as far as auction houses go around the country. And some of them are very reputable, and many of them are not. Most are not. I'm going to say that flat out. I've seen it. The vast majority of auction houses in America that sell Asian art are not honest. And I can name all the good ones on 3 hands, really. And that's what it's coming to. But at any rate, don't go anywhere near this. This piece is no good. It has no age as far as I can tell. And it's coming from a seller who only sells copies. And if that's their sourcing, if they're sourcing as copies, everything they sell is going to be copies. He's making it. The name of the business is, Best Buy. It's not. This isn't a department store. At any rate, so that's what it is, and I would just avoid it. Okay, all right, my friend. Good luck. Save your money. Save your money. All right. If it's any good, it'll be. We've seen these, by the way. I want you to know. Many of the pieces that are on here, we see them every Thursday and Friday when we start setting aside items to put on the newsletter page. We go through. We have some really good searches, and we have some really good filtering techniques that we've developed over the last 20 years, where we can find stuff lickety split if it's on there. We'll find it, and we've seen Best Buy stuff many times. And like Woolworths, who sells nothing but fakes, and there's a whole bunch of them. Art Rhythm sells a lot of fakes, and We don't include them. We don't include Woolworths anymore, even when they have something authentic. Occasionally, they get a piece of export ware, unless it's an extraordinary piece of true export ware, because I don't want to send people to them as a customer. I don't want them to have customers. I'll be very blunt about it. I think they should be put off the web. I think they're criminals, and what they do is disgusting. And I'm very, very proud to say it. All right, so those are my thoughts. All right, good luck. Bye-bye. Hey, Lewis, it's Peter, and I've got your query from Friday here, your wonderful Kunqi panel. This is a nice one, and it's inscribed up here. The color is excellent. From what I can see, it's a little blurry, obviously, because you had to shoot it. It's hard to shoot these things on an angle through glass. I feel your pain. We've had pieces like this that we've sold, and customers say, "Well, I need good photographs." Oh, it's in glass. It's got reflections everywhere. Very hard to do. But you did a good enough job. I don't need much more than this. Here you have a group of gentlemen. They have a yang and yin scroll between them, which was, as you know, a common activity among the Chinese literati, among the educated classes, who were at the very, very top of the social hierarchy in Chinese civil society. The literati were valued above all others. Educated man, they were more valuable than the wealthy. They were more valuable than certain government leaders, not more important than the emperor and his family, but being a member of the literati class, the intellectual class, pursuing gentlemanly, leisurely pursuits are sort of epitomized in this image. And here they are. They're outdoors. There's a couple of attendants. There's an elderly man in the background. And these wonderful rocky outcroppings, the symbolism of the spotted deer and all that. And here you have them sitting around a sort of a stone table of some kind, examining and discussing, Confucius, Yang and Yin, the power and the energy of Buddha and all that. And here they are in this beautiful setting. And it's the idealized version that the Chinese had in their minds of the perfect life, the simple, elegant life, the ability to have enough food and comfort to live in joy and appreciate intellectual pursuits. It's part of that, and that's what this is all sort of a symbol of. The framing looks to be maybe bits and pieces taken from some Chinese carvings and then added onto a frame, or it was made in Europe in the Chinese style and carved over there. The frame doesn't really matter. It's the artwork. And big Kunqi panels are very highly sought after today, especially ones that are signed and have inscriptions on them, and depict these kinds of scenes. The scenery, what's depicted, is extremely important. The color is good. The blue is wonderful because it doesn't fade. Cobalt is one of the few colors that really doesn't fade under sunlight, like reds and pinks and yellows and other tones do. So the colors will have held up very, very well. You may see areas, if you examine carefully, some colors, sort of pinkish tones, soft skin tones that probably were originally more close in color to bright red peach, for example. And peach colors, bright peach colors, turn sort of skin toned when they fade a bit. So you may find areas like that. But regardless, this is a nice one. It was probably made in the 18th or early 19th century, from what I'm seeing. Late Qianlong period to early Jiajing era, 1780 or 90 up to maybe 1820, somewhere in there. So it's a nice piece. It's got good age. It looks like it's in wonderful condition. And the value of a panel like this, I can tell you because I've had them. And I've had ones that are very, very similar to this. And in general, we've sold them for between $4,000 and $6,000, depending on size and content. So that's sort of the thing. Back in the day, you said that you mentioned something about this having been exhibited. Where was this? In a museum in Munich, Germany. That's very possible, especially back in the 1920s and 30s. When a lot of exhibitions were taking place of Chinese art. And the Germans, of course, had a major role in China at the end of the 19th century and into the 20th century, in particular because the Empress Dowager, Cixi, brought in the German military to train the Chinese military on how to fight because they had been through such humiliation at the hands of the French and the British. That they, Empress Dowager wanted to align herself with Germany because she admired their military. You can't make this up. At any rate, so you'll often see photographs taken from you'll see photographs from the 1890s and early 1900s of German officers with the spiked helmets, the Kaiser helmets, marching through Chinese cities, and they were there to train Chinese soldiers on how to fight. And that so it is, and because of that relationship, a lot of very, very good Chinese material found its way into Germany, and there have been auctions at Christie's and Sotheby's of descendants of these German families that were in China at that time, and they sold them. There was one a couple of years ago. I believe it was a German father who was a general, and his son who was a colonel. Had a major collection that sold either at Sotheby's or Christie's. At any rate, so that's probably the Munich story. How it got there was it probably came back from that time period, but it was made long before that. It was made long before that, and it's a nice thing. So the Munich story makes total sense to me. And the quality certainly would have put it in a museum back in the day, because they were in a way more appreciated then than they are today. These were considered to be great masterworks of silk in the day, and they were appreciated for that. That's why it ended up in a museum. All right. Have a good week. Thanks for sending it. I liked it. It's a good thing. Take good care of it. Okay. Bye-bye.